Take 21 minutes to do English of 73C. All right, so let's go over number one. Who got this one? Let's just go right down the row. Lauren, number one.
C.
Okay, how'd you get C? What part of speech is since? Since tells us what? Who knows? Time, yes. So what part of speech tells us time?
Position.
Good. What other things does a preposition tell us? Time and what? Good. Time and location. So since is a preposition. What is a rule with separating something that comes before a preposition? You can never put a comma before a preposition because you can't separate the two things it's modifying. So that's why A and B are automatically eliminated. So we're now left with C and D. How do we differentiate between those two? Is anything being possessed with the apostrophe? Are we possessing anything? Okay, so D's out. Our answer is C. F, or number two. Well, I just told you the answer. The answer is F. Who can explain this one? Brianna, explain number two.
Well, it can't be G because we were comparing than. It's the wrong than because it was then.
Good.
Would J and H, those are both adverbs from the ly, so there's no verb being described. So
Good. So since we're modifying the adjective Ambaselli Elephant Research Project, we're not going to do an adverb, which is H and J. So the right answer would be F. All right, number three, Meghna.
I said D.
And how'd you get D?
Well, for B and C, that's just saying kind of that it can be it's added information and stuff like that. And for A, it's allowing the sentence to go on even though there should be a pause between encroachment and loss.
Yeah, you would go. Let's get a different answer for this one. Chris, no.
I got B.
Okay, how'd you get B?
Because that phrase is set off by a dash, that's the end of the dash.
Good, and what does that tell us? What trick is that?
Unnecessary.
Not necessarily. What technique do we follow? It's parallelism, right? Parallelism tells us similar syntax and grammatical reasoning. This is syntax because it's sentence structured. So whatever end starts with a dash needs to end with a dash because we're offsetting non-essential stuff. Right here is the break, okay? This part is my IC because Moss is my subject, is my verb. Everything that comes before is all a dependent clause. So this is my only IC in the sentence, so it needs to be separated. If not, A leaves me with no IC. And same thing with, well, C and D. C, I can't use a colon. What do I need before that? Yes, you need an IC colon, but I don't have an IC. Encroachment, comma, this doesn't follow parallelism. So it would be B. Number four.
I got J.
How'd you get J?
Because the information is already in the paragraph where it says face a daunting array of threats to survival from droughts to human.
Good. This sentence, right? These three words, droughts to human encroachment, tells us that humans are already a threat. So we don't need to add it because that'd be redundant information. So that's why it's J. All right, let's go on. Number five.
I said D.
Okay, how'd you get B?
Because intensive is describing field studies, and even with the word adjectives, you can't put a comma in between there to flip them because that would make sense. So there can't be a comma between intensive and field, so A and D would be gone. And then the phrase, like key finding from her intensive field studies, that is not a dependent clause, so we don't need a comma.
Almost. C. What is our subject?
Key finding.
Good. A key finding is our subject. Why can it be? And then remember, this is a prepositional phrase from her intensive field, or all this stuff is a prepositional phrase. So our closest verb is what? What is our main verb? Is. Okay. So this is our verb. What's the rule? Can we separate a subject and a verb? No. So that is why C is wrong. And also because in order to use that comma, it needs to be a DC before it. Okay. This rule right here, what's going on right there? It's two adjectives. In order to do this, when you have an ADJ, comma, ADJ, and then your noun, you don't put another comma right here. There's no comma. You only have one comma, which is right here, between the two adjectives. And in order to use this rule, they need to be interchangeable. So if I have intensive and field modifying the noun studies, they're not interchangeable, so I no longer can use this rule. And regardless, there is no comma after field. 6. Test 6.
Okay, so I got G because for F, there's no contrast or comparison between two things. So F can be eliminated. As always in by now, they're like transitions for continuation. So we can eliminate that too. And so the answer would be G.
Good. When you say for instance, you're providing an example. You're providing an example for observation, which is when a calf must learn how to. You're saying what she observed, okay, and that's basically it. And she later goes on to depict an actual example of that when she talks about taking water from the mouth and stuff. All right, 7. Rohit.
I got C.
Okay, how?
It's like the correct tense of sleeping, and it's also a parallelism.
Good. It's only parallelism. What is indicative of parallelism? How do we know?
Because like right before there's like a meaning.
And what word specifically parallelism gives us 3 things. These are the 3 indicators for parallelism. What are they? Good. What else? List, pair, comparison. Whenever I have a pair of comparison, 99% of the time, it's the word and. That's the word. So when I have kneeling and sipping, that's my pair. So that's why I know to look for it. Whenever my verb after an and is underlined, it's always parallelism. And in this case, it is. Number 8. Lauren, number 8.
T.
You got which one?
T.
Okay, and how'd you get that?
Well, the habit of pouring water into a strong is a DC.
Which the habit? Yes.
And then releasing the water into its mouth is also DC. And you can't have two DCs. Or,
Good.
I don't know how to explain this.
Yeah, you're on the right track. So this one, my subject is here, the habit. That's my subject. My verb is develops. That's my subject and verb. That's separated by a period. This is 2 DCs right here. So we need to make this a complete sentence. So the way I do that is by putting in G. How you know it's this one is it's kind of intuitive because when you say and then, and you can say and next, you can interchange then with next. This is showing succession, which is like the flow of the process. So it's going to be G. Number 9. Number 9 is an idiom. It's C. There's no grammatical reasoning for why it's C. It just is. Okay. 10.
10. I put T. Yeah, I don't really know. I think you just leave it as which it's not a good expression. Well, I said it wasn't F because that seemed unnecessarily wordy. And then I didn't put it as J because
This one I would say is an idiom as well. I don't think there's a grammatical reasoning for why it should be G. It's more of the style of the author, and it just sounds the best in this case. All right, 11.
Mhm. So I put B because we already know that Ellie is an elephant because it already says it involves three elephants. And we also know it's the third because they already talked about the first two. And for no change, it says it's also named by Moss, but in the first part, it never said anything about the other two being named by Moss. So I want to change something in there.
Good. Easy. We're going 12.
I said no change for 12 because like it sounds great and it also it's in the correct tense.
What is my other closest verb that tells me the tense? And what tense is it?
It's in future tense.
Nope.
No, past tense.
Good. Now, what other verb is there in that sentence that tells me?
Overcame.
Good. So overcame and grew. I know it needs to be. And what tense is G in? Will have grown. Good. And then what is H?
H.
Had grown.
That future.
Past perfect.
Alright.
And then J, yep, present. All right. Another thing. Notice the word pair. Not only, but also. That's a word pair. What are our word pairs? Let's go over that right now. Not only, but also. Then we have as and as. Whenever you have one as, you need another as. Okay? Neither nor. Neither nor, either or. All right. Let's go on. Number 13.
I got C.
Okay, how'd you get C?
So where it is now, it doesn't make sense because sentence pair talks about him overcoming this condition. We don't know this condition yet. Sentence B, the answer choice B is incorrect because before sentence 1 is going to contribute to Eli, whereas sentence 7 goes directly to talking about it. And then sentence 4.
You said you got C, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this one's actually D. So the reason for that is, look at sentence 3. Sentence 3, when did they even introduce Eli? Sentence 4. So if we're talking about Eli was born with the condition, we're talking about his condition. So if we're talking about Eli, shouldn't we first introduce Eli, then talk about him? So that's why it should be after sentence 4, right?
Never mind. Sorry.
Did you circle the wrong one? Okay, that's what I thought. Because your explanation, what you were explaining as you were going, you had the right explanation. You circled the wrong answer. I can see what you did. All right, 14. Amitesh.
I got J.
Okay. This whole passage is all filled with idioms. This one just uses the correct preposition, which is J. 15. I don't like this passage. The next ones are good, but this one not so much. 15. Rohit. Okay. Let's read the question. Focus on some aspect of animal behavior. Did they talk about animal behavior in the wild? They talked about how Eli had to start learning how to sip and drink, right? And like how he was using his whatever you call the elephant thing to drink water. Yeah, the trunk. Yeah. So that's why it's B. Okay. Next one. 16. Laura, 16.
J.
Good.
This was concise. And yeah.
Well, seeing remnants are the ghost signs seeing themselves?
What's a ghost sign?
Wait, what?
What's a ghost sign?
When what is they referring to? The ghost signs, right? They are called ghost signs. So go signs. And it's saying seeing remnants. Whenever I have a DC, comma, IC, this is a modification. So this DC is directly modifying they. So, are they seeing themselves? No. It's remnants of an outdoor advertisement from a bygone area. They. It's the remnants that are called the go signs. So that's why this is the correct modification. 17.
I said it was A because it was the most
Good. 18.
I said G because there was a parallel.
Perfect.
Wait, which one again?
For what?
18.
18 is G for parallelism. If you start with a dash, end with a dash. Okay.
I said A for that one. Could you repeat the second?
For this one, well, does anyone else get a more other reasoning for why this is wrong? Well, why it's B?
Oh,
You said it was A, right?
yeah.
Okay. Did anyone else get? Who got B? Why'd you get B, Brianna?
I don't really know why I got B. I just because I read ahead that to the part where it said yet, so it just to me it made sense that it said that should be that should still be.
Okay. Whenever you use when you have the word that, it's referring to the ghost signs. So using that word is referring to the ghost signs that are striking you as silly or sad. This is kind of intuitive again. It's B. 28 or 20 min.
I got that.
Yep. There's no reason for a colon or any. You don't need a coordinating conjunction in H because you're not separating two ICs, so you don't use a common and. For the colon, there is no IC before it, so you can't use it. And then here, there's no reason for a comma after. So it's F. 21. I'm attached 21.
I got B, but
Good.
I don't know why.
This one you have to read it. Which one makes sense? When you say, they themselves survive without apology, with their simple claims and complex colors. You read it like that because instead is now non-essential, so you cross it out. I don't know why they put a comma before with, because there's no reasoning for that, but using process of elimination, you can determine it's B. All right, 22. Go ahead.
I got
How'd you get F? When do we look for a misplaced modifier? What sentence form do we look for a misplaced modifier? Whenever it's DC, comma, IC, and the question is underlining that, look for misplaced modifier. In F, who's doing the driving home? Is it my collection that's driving home? No, it's not. Your collection can't drive home. So that's a misplaced modifier. So who got the right answer? Who got an answer for this one other than that? Brandon.
I got H because it followed the structure of those.
Good. Using the personal pronoun I, it starts out saying I collect ghost signs, and then I started driving my I started my collection one chilly October evening, driving home from school. So yeah. All right, 23. Central point the writer makes about ghost signs. What is his central point? Who got it? Magna.
I don't know, but I thought it might be D, because it was like under like the paper kids designs, and it was just kind of like there, and not many people were looking at it and stuff like that.
Yes, good. So, D. And also, the whole passage is about there's like the culture that's suddenly disappearing. Well, then suddenly, like, it's gone, basically. And the signs are now disappearing as well. 24.
I said it was J, the second set related.
Good. You need to use the verb in this case. So it's going to be J. 25 is an idiom. It's B. 26. Yeah, most concise. You don't need, on the other hand, it indicates contrast. You don't need that. So we're left with J. $27, D, most concise, and it just makes sense. 28. Who can do this? Magna.
I was thinking it was H because it's like I and then like the signs doesn't necessarily have to be there, but like I appreciate the beauty of those signs more when I am alone. So
Good. It follows this form. I, non-essential, am. So you read it as I am alone. So how you read the sentence? I appreciate the beauty of ghost signs more when I am alone. That's how you read it. 29. Paragraph 2 should be put where? Were you saying something, Lauren?
Wait, is it H?
Yes, yeah. All right, 29. Lauren, why don't you use 29?
A.
Okay, how'd you get A?
Well, kind of like at the beginning and like adding sentence of each paragraph, and then sorry, I don't have to look at this.
It's okay.
All right, so the beginning of paragraph 2 is saying I collect ghost signs, but, and then paragraph 1 is kind of describing ghost signs. So it first introduces it, so if you want to make it go after paragraph 1, so that would mean it's B. And then,
Paragraph 1 and 2 are completely different though, right? Because they talk about the signs and like the products and businesses that no longer exist. And then it's going on to an anecdote about how I collect those signs. So instead of looking at the first and second paragraph, let's look at the second and third paragraph. How do those two tie together?
with saying how he like is collecting them when he's driving or sees them when he drives home from school, but then it's describing the one that he saw in the third.
Perfect. That's what I was looking for. When you say right here, but I have never noticed the sign, then there it was. What is that it referring to?
The sign.
The sign, which was referenced in paragraph 2. That's why this pronoun is what gives it away. That paragraph 2 should stay exactly where it is. So it is A. 30. Starting and enjoying a new hobby. What is the answer? Yeah. Yep. All right. 31. The Bahamas. Cross out anything that we don't need. If our subject or verb is not in there, we can cross it right out. The Bahamas, comma, what? Good. Are. Don't use the subordinator which because that makes it DC. The Bahamas are home to some of the most unusual geographical formations in the world. Next one. 32. The topic of this paragraph is what? What is the topic? It's explaining the formation process, right? So which sentence tells us how it's starting to be formed? Which answer choice?
No.
Well, see, this one refers to just calcium carbonate as a common rock. It doesn't relate it specifically to the Bahamas. Which sentence refers specifically to? Because that's the whole purpose of this passage, is relating to how the Bahamas were formed and the rocks there. So which one? The letter F tells us the Bahamas were formed from calcium carbonate. And then the next sentence says during the formation process, which was introduced now in the previous sentence. So notice how this one introduces the paragraph basically. All right, 33. What tense should we be in? Note, always look at your answer choices. Build, built, and are building. So this is all tense.
A.
Good. What word tells us that?
Trapped.
Good. Where's that?
30 seconds.
Oh, yep, trapped, but right after this, built, and then compacted. All right, 34. Over time, rainwater permeated the porous limestone but was trapped just above the sea level. Buoyed by the, this one is F. This is again a modification which is directly modifying the water that's being buoyed, or no, the porous limestone that's being buoyed up. 35. This is the only question where you're ever going to say what's non-essential or essential. It's going to be D because we can say rainwater or seawater alone could alone. We don't need to put that in 2 dashes because that'll make it non-essential. 36. As the limestones eroded, what happened? Caves formed. As is a subordinator. So right up until here, I am left with a DC. This is my only IC. Caves formed. Subject, verb, and that's it. That's an IC. 37. Which choice specifically illustrates how long the cave creating process specifically illustrates how long? Time. So we're left with B because this one specifically tells us from Ice Age, between Ice Ages. That one tells us specific time periods. All right, 38. This one, shortest answer, repeat at different depths, most concise. We're speeding through this so we can finish on time. All right, 39. Who wants to do 39? What am I dealing with here? Some of these blue holes open to small contained caves. Okay, so I have no punctuation here. The next one I have a semicolon and I have a comma. And this one says that. So right now what I should be thinking is this one might create a comma splice. This one might work. This one might change it into a DC because of that. And then this one has no punctuation. So let's see. Let me see how many ICs I have. Because I have two phrases like this and I have punctuation. So that's what I think this question is testing. So let's see. My subject will be some. I never take a subject from a prepositional phrase, so I can cross all that stuff out. Some, what's my verb? It's contained. Some contained caves. That's it. Others, the subject. Others, others open, so my verb would be open. All right, so I have 2 ICs. Which one is the only one that can separate 2 ICs? Semicolon, good. 40. Do I care if it's a popular cave diving destination? What is this whole part talking about? It's talking about the physical characteristics of the caves and how the Bahamas were formed. So this is completely out of context. So I don't need to know because, and this is the reasoning, because it's focused on the cave creating process. All right, 41. What are we dealing with? Darkly, strikingly, and darkly. So what is it most likely testing? Verbs that end in, or words that end in ly are most likely what? Adverbs. Good. So they're most likely testing adverbs. The telltale sign to a blue hole is a circular patch of water. Strikingly darker. Darker is modifying water. Strikingly is modifying dark. I just messed that up. Darker is modifying water, and strikingly is modifying darker. So you read it as it's strikingly darker water. And that's the right answer should be B. because this is my adjective, this is my adverb, and water is my noun. All right, 42. Then the water surrounding them, these, one, it. Testing pronouns here. So whenever I'm testing pronouns, first thing I need to do is find my antecedent. So what is my antecedent? What is them referring to? The telltale sign of a blue hole is a circular patch of water strikingly darker than the water surrounding blank. So what should it? It's what? Good. The blue hole. That's my antecedent. Is the blue hole is or the blue hole are? Is, so it's singular. So if this is singular, why am I using a plural pronoun? It should be it. 43. I'm left with the DC right here. I need to fix that, so I take out the period. It's C. All right, 44. Which choice most effectively suggests the shape of blue holes as described earlier in the essay? Keyword is shape. What's the only word that describes shape in all of these four answer choices? Which one? Yes, but which word specifically? Good. It's dot. 45. In these depths, fossils and ancient rock formations are incredibly well preserved. Where did they talk about fossils here? Good. And where specifically? Perfect. All right, that's it. And we're done for today. All right. Next week we're gonna start like skipping questions and just going over the important ones because we're trying to pick up the pace now and get through a lot more material. I'll check in next week. It's fine. And also, we're most likely gonna start math next week.